Hello my love, how are you? Today's video is about 13 places where women want to be touched. We're talking about where and how to touch a woman to get her hot and madly in love with you. A little real talk, touch is awesome, right? It's magic. It's beautiful. It's one of the main reasons we want a relationship, right? She helps you connect and makes falling in love and being in love magical and exciting. And since you're a good, decent guy looking for a good, decent girl, it's critical that you know how and where to touch a woman appropriately, right? The last thing you want is to be really scary. But at the same time, if you don't touch her at all, it will be very difficult to develop attraction. So it's something you have to handle very carefully. If you're looking for a happy, loving, long-lasting relationship with a kind, sweet woman, it's critical that you know how to touch her and where to touch her. Fortunately, you don't have to worry about that. By the end of the video, you'll be a pro. You're about to discover the best places to touch women and how to touch them in a way that's simply thrilling. Therefore, if you are interested in learning how to do this, watch the video until the end. Before we get started, make sure you've signed up and hit the notification bell. My name is Pamela Raquel. I'm a Christian dating coach for men and creator of the Red Attitude channel. I'm your go-to source to learn how to find the sweet, soft, gentle love of your life and make her fall deeply in love with you forever. And the best part is, there are no mind games, no gimmicks. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. And if you want to know more about working with me, just go to the members area. As we start with the 13 places women want to be touched, there are 2 other videos that will help you a lot too. Be sure to watch this video about 11 things men do to melt a woman's heart. It will be released soon. It's incredibly effective. You'll want to check it out. And this video on the signs she's just waiting for you to make the move. I will put the links to these 2 videos in the WhatsApp group. Okay, let's talk about the 13 places women want to be touched. I'm going to do it in 2 phases in this video, because there's more than one phase to this. The first phase is when you are not in a relationship with her. The second phase is when you are in a relationship. There's a big difference between how you can and should touch a woman when you're not in a relationship and when you're in a relationship. Therefore, it is very important that you understand both. The reason you want to make sure you understand the difference between phase 1 and phase 2 is that if you try to play her like you should when you're in a relationship before you're in a relationship, that's one of the quickest ways of her thinking you're scary. It scares her. Because you're acting like there's an emotional closeness that isn't there yet. Therefore, you must avoid this. So let's start with the first phase. You are with me? It seems good? Let's start. The first place a woman wants to be touched is her hands. Now, if you're not already in a relationship, that doesn't mean holding her hand. It's best to save that for when you're in a relationship. But you can still touch her hand. Maybe if you're handing her something, you can, let your hands brush against each other. Something like that. You can still touch her hand, and it gives her those butterflies and makes her think, oh, he touched me. That's really cool. And then she has to tell all her friends and celebrate for a week. It's legit. So if you can let your hands touch, yes, take advantage of it. The second place a woman wants to be touched by a man is her upper arms. There are many opportunities where you can gently touch her arm. Maybe if you're just acting with a little understanding or a playful little nudge, something like that. The upper arm is a non-threatening, yet totally adorable spot where you can touch her. It's a great place to start when you're trying to get past the no-touch barrier and get a little closer and get her to notice you in a romantic way. The next place a woman wants to be touched is her back. Now, lots of questions about, okay, where should I tap her on her back? If you play too loud, it's like the ultimate friend zone, and you don't want that. If it's too low, it's scary, and you shouldn't do it. So instead, a good rule of thumb is shoulder blade height, just below the shoulder blade. That is great. There's something so welcoming about a man simply placing his arm or hand on your back. Maybe if you're guiding her, or if you're leaning over to talk to her, or something like that, it'll turn her on. It will make her feel like you're protecting her, and that's adorable. This is actually one of my favorites, to be honest with you. It's very powerful. Okay, the next place a woman wants to be touched, and that's not necessarily a place, it's more like a hint. It's just sitting next to her. Again, if you're not in a relationship, don't put your arm around her. This is best for when you're in a relationship. You want to avoid being scary. But sit next to her. For example, touch her when you're sitting next to her. This is something she will notice even if she doesn't say anything about it. But it's adorable and cute, and it makes her think, oh, maybe he likes me. He's sitting next to me, and that's adorable. So don't be afraid to sit close enough to touch each other. Okay, the next place a woman wants to be touched by a man, and this is, again, more of a hint than a specific place. I hope this is obvious, but just in case, she wants you to hug her, right? Even when you're in a relationship, there's something so sweet about a heartfelt hug. Everyone wants to be hugged, and there's all kinds of science to how good it makes you feel. So just use it, okay? Don't be afraid to hug her. And that's something you can do even when you're not in a relationship that really creates that closeness and interest. My next tip on how to touch and move her is when you offer her your arm. This is something not many people do, but they should because it's adorable. This is especially true if she is wearing high heels or if the terrain is a bit treacherous. Offering her your arm is adorable. And, again, it shows that you are protective. It shows that you are masculine, confident and strong. And she can, maybe feel your arm a little bit. Which would also be nice. But don't think about it, just offer her your arm, and that's adorable. I want you to remember one thing, being a gentleman is always romantic. It's just adorable, especially since not many people do that. So you are the exception, you stand out when you are a gentleman. At my academy, when I'm coaching people on how to captivate the love of their life, one thing I'm careful to point out is that gentlemen are the most attractive. This is the kind of man a woman wants to spend her life loving. Therefore, the simple act of offering her your arm is very beautiful. Another thing I want you to keep in mind as we go through this list of places a woman wants you to touch her is that it's important to know how to touch her and where to touch her. This is very important. This is a big step. However, you also need to know how to get to the point where you can touch it, right? You need to know how to turn her head, how to create that attraction, and how to make her want you to touch her. Otherwise, you'll end up looking creepy, and you don't want that. So how do you get to that point where she wants you to touch her? And how do you do that with the kind of woman you really want? You need to learn how to turn her head, how to talk to her, to really build up the attraction and then chase after her. All these things are what make her want you to touch her. I know how difficult this can be. There are too many variables and a huge margin for error. This is especially true if you've failed in the past and if you've felt the embarrassment, rejection, and heartbreak. That's why I created my academy for you. Now you have a place to learn how to find the sweet, gentle love of your life, make her fall deeply in love with you, so you can come home to her soft kisses every night. I take out all the guesswork so you don't have to worry about what you should or shouldn't do. Instead, you'll have a roadmap that will lead you to the love success you deserve. I just created a new free masterclass with 3 life-changing secrets to help you finally keep the love of your life close forever. And you'll find out more about my academy and how you can join me there. To receive exclusive tips, be part of the channel's members area. If you really want to avoid the heartache and get to the part where you finally have the eternal love of your life, you need to attend this training today. Just log in to the members area, /watch today, before it's too late. We've already talked about how to touch a woman before a relationship. Let's talk now about how to touch her, where to touch her, when in a relationship. I don't mean married yet. I mean you're dating. The first place to touch her when you're in a relationship is her hair. It's actually really cute when a guy plays with your hair, or if you just brush her hair, maybe move it away from her face, maybe tuck it behind her ear. These little things make her feel very feminine and beautiful. Like, oh, he likes my hair, and it's really, really cute. Obviously, don't overdo it. And gauge how she reacts. Some women don't like having their hair messed up, especially if they've put a lot of effort into getting it nice for that date with you. Therefore, assess how she reacts to this. But overall, it's a really, really cute way to play it. The next place a woman wants you to touch her is her face. Now you can do this. For example, when you're kissing her, you can touch her face. You can just place your hand on her cheek. This is just adorable. Just those little caresses on her face are totally swoon-worthy. They definitely thrill her. The next place you can touch a woman is her waist. Now, if you're next to her, put your hand on her waist. If you're hugging her, maybe you could put your arms around her waist. Or maybe when you're kissing her, put your hands on her waist. This is very beautiful for her. It makes her feel close to you, and again, it helps her to feel feminine and to see you as very masculine. Whenever you make her feel feminine, she will see you as more masculine. The next thing you can do is put your arm around her. Again, this should go without saying, but just in case, I know I just mentioned that when putting your hand on her back, you shouldn't go too high. The exception is when you put your arm around her. You're not saying, "Hey buddy, old buddy." Instead, you're just putting your arm around her. So it's definitely okay if it's on the shoulders and the upper back when you put your arm around her. This, again, is very welcoming, feels like a hug, and is just adorable. And I have a quick question before we talk about the other places you can touch a woman. I actually never made a video about it. It's the first time I've done this. Are you enjoying? Would you like to see more? If you want, comment yes so I know. I really appreciate your comments very much. They help me a lot. They help me know what to do, and I love hearing your opinions and knowing that you're enjoying what I'm doing. So if you want more videos like this, comment yes to let me know. And leave your questions, comments, or ideas for future videos in the comments too. The next place a woman wants you to touch her is, again, if you're in a relationship. Don't do this if you're not in a relationship. It will be bad. That place is her knee. Let's say you're sitting next to each other and you place your hand on her knee, as if it were the kneecap area. This is very beautiful. It's like reminding her that you're there and you're adorable. It's kind of crazy how simple these things can look but are actually totally adorable. Don't underestimate the power of touch to increase attraction. The next place a woman wants to be touched is her neck. Now, that, shouldn't just snap her neck. This is not pretty. It's scary. But, for example, let's say you're combing her hair and you put your hand on her neck for a moment. Or let's say he's kissing her or something. There are really adorable ways to touch her neck that, again, make her feel feminine, attracted to you is amazing. And the next place you can touch a woman might seem a little obvious, but hear me out. It's her mouth. Now, yes, obviously, you can kiss her. And if you're in a relationship, you should probably kiss her. However, this doesn't have to be limited to just kissing her. We've all seen that part in the movie where, for example, she takes a bite of food, a cupcake, or something, and she gets some in her mouth, and he gently brushes or wipes her mouth. At this point it's really cliched, it's been in a lot of movies, but it's for a reason. It's because it's a funny thing. It's a fun way to break down the touch barrier and make her feel closer to you and more attracted to you. Okay, so we talk about phase 1 when you're not in a relationship and phase 2 when you're in a relationship. Pay close attention. Anything beyond what I just shared with you should be saved for after the wedding. I know this isn't the most popular thing to say, but it's the truth. Therefore, I will say this. Anything beyond what I just shared with you needs to be saved until after the wedding. And this happens for several reasons. First, if she's a woman of high quality, if she's a woman of class, someone with so much love to give that she's looking to give that love to a man, she doesn't want to share that with a man she's not married to. Think about it. So if you try some of these things before marrying her, that's a red flag. This causes her to say, "I don't want this guy anymore, I've had enough." So it helps you make sure you're attracting the right type of women. It also protects her and makes her feel safe. Always, always, always ask yourself, what kind of woman are you trying to attract? A classy woman or a classless woman? If you want a classy woman, you need to use the strategies that allow you to attract this type of woman. And saving things for marriage is the only strategy that helps you attract that loving, kind, caring, good, loyal woman. A loyal woman is loyal to her man even before he is her husband. And that means she saves things for the wedding. If you're attracting these fake, toxic women, that's usually one of the main reasons. You need to establish these physical boundaries early on. And in case you're wondering, okay, Pamela Raquel, how do I find a nice, loyal woman? How do I find a woman who is appropriate, loving, kind, and awesome? These are questions I also address in my members session. Again, I take the guesswork out of it for you. This way, you will have a clear roadmap to find the absolute and wonderful love of your life. To learn more about this, click Become a Member today. Do it now, don't leave it for later, you deserve real love. However, it's important to note that every woman is unique and has individual preferences when it comes to intimate touches. What might work for one woman might not work for another. The key to tapping into this physical connection is communication and mutual consent. As you explore the places where women like to be touched, remember that consent is key. Before initiating any type of physical contact, make sure your partner is comfortable and willing to proceed. Open and respectful communication is key to ensuring an enjoyable experience for both of you. That said, there are some areas that are generally sensitive and pleasurable for many women. The neck is one of them. A gentle kiss, a warm breath, or even a light touch with your fingertips can send shivers through her body. Lips are also extremely sensitive, and kissing them passionately and gently can spark an intense emotional connection. Gently explore her body, paying special attention to areas such as her back, abdomen, thighs, and breasts. Always remember to respect your partner's boundaries and wishes. Also, don't forget the less obvious erogenous zones like your ears, scalp, and even your hands and feet. Each person has their own preferences, so it's important to observe and respond to the signs of pleasure they show. However, it's important to remember that touch is not the only aspect of a meaningful physical connection. Emotional intimacy, trust, and mutual respect are key to creating a healthy and fulfilling relationship. So, my love, take advantage of this knowledge as a way to explore and deepen your intimacy with your partner, but always remember to respect her wishes and boundaries. After all, the real magic happens when you both feel safe, loved, and wanted. Clear? Here are some suggestions of things a man can do within a relationship to spice up the relationship with the woman he loves. 1. Open and honest communication. Establish a safe and comfortable environment so that both can share their desires, fantasies, and needs. Open and honest communication is key to strengthening the emotional and sexual connection between you. 2. Surprise her. Make unexpected and surprising gestures to show how much you care about her. It could be a romantic dinner, a weekend getaway, or even small gifts or sweet messages in the middle of the day. 3. Explore fantasies together. Talk about your sexual fantasies and be open to exploring them together. Create a safe, judgment-free environment to share your innermost desires, and consider trying new experiences to spice up the relationship. 4. Invest in romance. Keep the flame of romance alive in the relationship. Plan romantic dates, write love letters, offer sincere compliments, and show your partner how special and desired she is. 5. Explore the touch. Discover and explore the erogenous zones of your partner's body. Take the time to touch, caress, and explore her body in ways that make her comfortable and aroused. Remember that everyone is different, so be open to learning what brings them pleasure. 6. Try new things in intimacy. Be willing to try new things in intimacy. From sensual games, erotic toys to different positions and techniques, be open to innovating and discovering together what brings pleasure to both of you. 7. Prioritize emotional intimacy. Don't forget the importance of emotional intimacy. Taking time to connect emotionally, share feelings, and be there for each other strengthens the connection and creates an environment more conducive to passion and desire. 8. Keep the sense of adventure. Don't be afraid to get out of the routine and add a little adventure to the relationship. Try exciting activities together like traveling, extreme sports, or even trying something new in the kitchen. The sense of newness and adventure can revitalize your relationship and increase the attraction between you. Remember that every couple is unique, and the most important thing is that you are both willing to put in the effort and invest in the relationship. Be open to exploring, communicating, and discovering together what works for you. Love, passion, and connection are built over time, with mutual care and dedication.